When to sleep with a man. This is the topic for today's live stream. And this is the first live stream I have done in possibly half a year. It's been so long that I had to spend a whole bunch of time testing things to make sure everything still works on all my channels. So, welcome. We're going to be talking about when a woman should be sleeping with a man and when she definitely should not be. And this is a very important topic for women because if they get this wrong, you can really cause yourself a lot of problems. And it's not for the reasons that the those bitter red pill incels will tell you is the reason that you shouldn't be sleeping with men. So to begin, to begin, uh, women, you can do whatever you want in your life, in your sex life. Couldn't care less as far as what you decide to do. It's just that there's always going to be consequences for your actions. And the biggest consequence that you're going to have, there can be a few, but the biggest one, it's going to be that you're going to end up sleeping with a man that you actually like, that you're attracted to, that you're connected to, and he doesn't feel quite the same way about you. And well, actually, that's one of the few things that can happen. So he doesn't feel the same way about you. And what's going to happen? You're going to sleep with him. It's going to feel fine, hopefully, if it's a good time. And then he's going to become more distant, maybe more closed off to you, not interacting as much with you as before, and you're going to end up getting quite hurt. Another possibility that is very common is, say it's a guy that you really like and he really likes you too. You sleep together. Now you're more attached to him, right? Typically when you sleep with a man, unless the unless the sex is terrible, you're going to be more attached to him. And then what you find out is problems start coming up, right? Those little issues where he's not leading the way that you need in some kind of way. He's not treating you with the kind of care that you need. And you try communicating what's coming up for you, and he doesn't respond very well. Now, of course, that might be because your understanding of using feminine communication and communicating respectfully in the way that a man can receive is not that great. Or it can be because a man's got some kind of wound that's going on where he just isn't really in his healthy masculine energy and role, doesn't really know how to take care of a woman. And now you're in a situation where you're more attached to him, you really like him, maybe even addicted to him in some kind of way, and he's not really capable of taking care of you, right? Because if you're not able to communicate what you're experiencing, what you're feeling, what your needs are, what your unmet needs are, the problem that you're experiencing in the relationship, without him giving you a positive response, right, and actually leading to fix the issue, well, now you're kind of stuck, right? And now you're in a situation where probably you're going to end up having to break the attachment at some point, right? It would be a man that you shouldn't have been sleeping with in the first place. It's different for men. It's really different for men. Now, I mentioned at the start of this video that, as any of my followers know, I'm not a red pill incel. It's just like, oh, you shouldn't sleep with any men, and you're just gonna be ran through, and then men aren't gonna be attracted to you anymore if you ever sleep with more than one man. That's so ridiculous. It's getting so unbelievable. Let's pause this video for a moment because this is one of my favorite topics. It's just ripping on the red pill community and how ridiculous it is. So for anyone who doesn't know, red pill community is it's an umbrella term. Like you could even consider me in the red pill community, I guess, though I don't want to associate with it at all. And a large number of the men that are in that community are just relatively unsuccessful with women, quite misogynistic, and like they don't like women. Like they're very bitter towards women. And so women who are like promiscuous in any way, like sleeping with more than one man your entire life, you're slut, you're awful, you have no value, you're completely useless to men, no man is ever going to want to be with you, that kind of total garbage, right? Like, I will say that the funny thing is I will give women a lot of a similar advice. It's just not because I hate women. It's because I actually love women and I don't want women to hurt themselves. Um, and that's the main reason that you shouldn't be sleeping with men too soon, right? Like, and there's other ways you can hurt yourself too from sleeping with a whole bunch of men. But anyway, it's such a ridiculous, like, it's basically the counter to feminism. Okay, so like feminists started, we could say it started out with some, some good points, and now it has devolved into just this complete degeneracy where uh, so many feminists will attack women for wanting to be a stay-at-home mother. It's like, oh my God, you love your children, you want to homeschool your children, you want to, support your man from home. You're a terrible person. You must hate women. You must hate yourself. And the red pill community is the counter movement to that, where there's some good points, and I would actually say a lot of good points. It's just it feeds into this victim mindset that men have around, like, everything, their love life, the reason their love life is a failure, it is all men's fault. Or sorry, it's all women's fault. I was talking about feminism for a moment because that's what the feminists will say. So, oh, my love life is terrible because all men are terrible. Well, what do the red pill guys say? My love life is terrible because all women, they're sluts. They have no value. They're just all a bunch of terrible single mothers, and we should just go back to the time when women couldn't vote. So that's another reason, by the way, that you probably shouldn't sleep with a man too soon. You definitely want to find out what his red pill beliefs are and how much he actually truly enjoys and cherishes and cares about women. Because yeah, you really don't want to get wrapped up in that nonsense. It's bad, and it's getting worse. And I think it's going to get much worse. And I've said this, I did it in a video, but I ended up deleting it. So I never actually went live with it. It was a recorded video. But I think that this counter movement, by the way, before we get back to the topic of this live stream, this counter movement, I think it's going to be really dangerous for women. I actually see that potential, because right now it's just a bunch of men that are mostly virgins and are just really unhappy and whatever. But I think it could actually turn into a political movement at some point. It could become politicized, and there could be a situation at some point in the future where women's rights do get taken away. Anyway, that is a topic for another video. This one, so we'll redirect here. By the way, if anyone has any questions about this topic, so the topic is when you should be sleeping with a man and when you shouldn't be, shoot them out. I did do a test, and I'm pretty sure all the comments are, because I got it on several different platforms, they should all be coming right to me. I should be able to answer everything. So go ahead, or if there's anything you want to share, any feelings that you're experiencing, good or bad, go ahead and tell me. If you want to share any of your negative experiences with sleeping with a man too soon, go ahead and share that too. It becomes a lot more fun the more active the audience is. Okay, so sleeping with a man too soon, because what if you, so let's just give a hypothetical. It's like 6 months. Oh, sorry, not 6 months. Oh, wait, 6 months would be fine too. But I was going to say 6 weeks. So like you got on like 10 dates, something like that, and he's leading you towards getting intimate, and he's really good at it. So he really starts turning you on, and then you kind of want it too, and then you end up sleeping with him, and then you find out, say like a week later, maybe he's like pulling back a little bit, which can sometimes often happen with a man after sex. Doesn't mean he doesn't like you anymore, but it just often happens. And then maybe you get kind of needy and clingy. Okay. So you get needy and clingy, and you try communicating that in some way. You probably don't do a very good job unless you really understand how to use feminine communication quite well. And then he doesn't respond very well to that. And then you feel even more anxious. Your abandonment wound is getting triggered, and you don't know what to do because you've already tried communicating and it didn't go very well. What do? Just try to pretend that everything's fine, just focus on your life. Now you're in a situation where a man is demonstrating he's not capable of taking care of your needs. Because in a perfect situation, this is the way it should be. Okay. You sleep with a man whenever that is, and we'll talk about the best times for that, whenever that is. And then something goes wrong, like it maybe he's a little bit distant afterwards, or like offhanded comment, whatever it is, because there's going to be things that happen in any kind of dynamic with a man where you don't feel good. And then you share what's coming up for you. And let's just say you're feeling some neediness and feeling clingy and feeling anxious. You're scared of being abandoned. And you basically share all that. You share it vulnerably using feminine communication. And he's like, oh wow, I didn't realize you're feeling this way. Tell me, are you free tonight? I'm going to call you and make sure you're doing okay. I want to make sure that you're feeling really good. I'm not going anywhere, blah blah blah. Like, say this was happening by text. And then you're like, okay, yeah, sure. And then he gets you on that call, gives you a bunch of reassurance, leads you into your feelings, helps you understand what's going on there, and makes you feel good. And then maybe you have to share, like, or maybe he asks you what you really need, and maybe a bit more frequent texts is what you need. And he's happy to do that for you. Not because he's feeling obligated, not because you pressured him, not because you guilted him, not because you're judging him for not doing it, but he's just like, oh, I really want to take care of my woman. I really want to make sure that she's feeling great and that she knows I'm not going anywhere, because she starts going in stories, as women often do when you find a man that you really, really like and there's a little bit of distance and disconnection in time. Women can go into stories, you go a little crazy, and I'm judging you with love there. But spinning about stories that are not really based in reality whatsoever. And the man just wants to help you. He just wants to give you care. That's the way that it should be. But if you decide to sleep with a man too soon, okay, too soon, without being clear that that is the kind of man that you're dealing with, then you're really risking a lot, aren't you? Because you don't know, is he really capable of taking care of your heart? Have you been using feminine communication for weeks or ideally months and months and months, and he's demonstrated that he's fully capable of caring for your feelings, that he's not going to go anywhere, and he's not just doing it to get laid, he's doing it because he genuinely cares. And if you're in touch with your intuition as a woman, if you're in touch with your feminine instinct, if you're connected to your feelings, you'll know, right? You'll know the difference. But you're only really going to know that if there's been previous situations prior to sleeping with him where things were not perfect, right? And you can look at this, like, think about your last, if you're single right now, then the last man, or if you're in a relationship, then earlier in your relationship, the first few months, were there situations where you felt a little bit of irritation, or you felt a little needy, or you felt some anxiety, or you felt some shame, or some guilt, or some jealousy, or some anger, or any other negative feeling? You probably did feel that. And you probably did feel it a bunch of times, because a man's not going to be leading perfectly, and because you've got your own wounds as well, right? That are where a man might trigger things even if he is leading perfectly, hypothetically. And so there should have been dozens of times that you are bringing this stuff up to him before even sleeping with him. That just makes sense, right? You want to make sure that he can take care of your heart before you're opening up your body to him. Because if he can't take care of your heart, then what are you doing? So women make this mistake. And like, I'll tell you as a guy, like, one of the best things, and I've said this before, one of the best things and best and horrible things about me and my ability to teach this to women is, prior to me getting married to my wife, I've been really successful with women, like, sexually. I've slept with a lot of women. I've had a lot of really shallow, meaningless relationships with women. And I'm not proud of that. I used to be proud of that. Now I'm not proud of it at all. But it's given me an incredible insight that most men and pretty much every woman does not have. Right? I have an insight into the mindset of a man who is relatively quite successful with women. Because those are the kind of men, and I don't mean, yeah. So I was going to say, the kind of man that you want is a man who is successful with women. That doesn't mean he's slept with a ton of women, though a lot of men who are successful with women would have. Uh, but you want a man who is naturally very attractive to women, right? Because you don't want to date a man who women don't like, because obviously there's something that's wrong with that man, right? He's got some creepy vibe, or he's not really confident about himself. He's not really being genuine and authentic. He doesn't know how to lead. He's not ambitious, whatever it is. If the vast majority of women are not attracted to him, then you're probably not going to be as well, because women are, even though they have differences, you're wired to be attracted to similar things. So you want a man who is relatively attractive to women. Men who are relatively attractive to women have a lot of options. They're not just going to settle down with the first woman that they meet. And so if you want that kind of man, then you need to know how to attract that kind of man in the first place. You need to know how to inspire him into wanting to claim you, right? Like, if he has lots of options for relationships, also for sex, do you have what it takes to inspire him to just want to be with you? It's like, I don't care about all these other women. Don't want them. I only want to be with you. Most women don't have that. They don't know what that takes. They don't know why they don't have it. And that sucks, because if you're, what are you left with? You're left with the men who don't really have options. They might choose you because if you make yourself available as an option, but you're not going to be nearly as fulfilled, right? So I understand why men decide not to claim a woman. I don't just understand this conceptually, like from theory. I understand it because I've lived that life. And I can see all the way, and also with that, it's like, I know how, like, in hindsight, because it's not really something that I thought about at the time, but now in hindsight, I'm like, wow, I would have actually hurt a lot of women. For me, it was just about having fun, but yeah, I probably hurt a lot of women, and yeah, they didn't really share how much it would have hurt for me to sleep with women, but never turn it into a relationship. That was extremely rare. But of course, that's not going to feel good to be rejected in that kind of way. And it's kind of like, in hindsight, obviously, I'm kind of stupid for not really thinking about that. But anyway, men are stupid sometimes. I'm stupid sometimes. It's just the way that it is. So, so you need to know the mindset of these kind of men, and it's not like, not protect yourself with it. Like, I'm not saying you do this with masculine energy, but you need to be fully aware of how men typically are going to operate, and learn how to communicate vulnerably using feminine communication to find out what kind of man you're dealing with before doing something like sleeping with them. I mean, you don't have to. No, it's totally up to you. It's just, there's going to be consequences if you decide to do otherwise. That's all. We got no questions here. What's going on? Nobody has questions. Nobody wants to know anything about this topic. I don't think that's true. Don't be shy. Say hi. We got Sarah here. We got Steven here. Welcome, both of you. Who else is listening right now? Who else is in the chat? What do you want to know about this topic? Here's another piece to this. This is a common thing that I get asked. So my belief now, it is so, yes, you can share. Christy, go ahead and share, and I will get to, if you got any question, or I'll get to it shortly. One of the things that, a question that often comes up is, okay, so there's you should wait until a man actually can care about your heart, but what else? My belief now, and I'm not saying everyone's going to follow this, I'm not saying you have to follow this, but my belief very strongly is that a woman should actually wait till marriage. Whether that, legal marriage, whatever, I don't care. I mean, a man has fully committed to you for life in front of other people, made that promise public. So there's going to be a lot of shame if he goes back on his promise. And hopefully with some kind of financial protection for you, especially if you're not working. And the reason why, I mean, there's a lot of reasons why, but It's because he has made that promise to you that he's going to only be with you, right? So a man can say that. You can just verbally say, like, yeah, I want to be with you forever, but it doesn't mean anything until there's actually an action like a public declaration, for example. And so if you sleep with a man before that, well, you're at risk of getting hurt. And you don't know how serious a man is. And so here's another part of this problem. They're all just coming to me. I've talked about all these before, but another one is getting strung along, because a lot of men are not serious enough about a woman to actually want to marry her. Might be serious enough to sleep with her. I mean, that's a very low level of seriousness. Might be serious enough to make you his girlfriend. Might even be serious enough to move in with you. But serious enough to choose, like, yeah, I'm going to be with you forever through thick and thin, whatever comes up, and I'm going to help you heal. We're going to heal together. We're both going to become the best versions of ourselves for each other. Is going to be That's going to happen less. It's going to happen less. And so a lot of women will end up sleeping with a man, assuming that it's going somewhere, but then it doesn't. And now you're, assuming that he's good in bed and just naturally attractive. Well, now you're going to be somewhat addicted to him. It's going to be hard to end things. And he's already getting a lot of what he wants. I'm not saying like withhold sex to withhold what he really wants. It's not about that. It's about honoring yourself. But the end result is going to be that it's, or sorry, it's going to be more likely that he's not going to take things seriously and move things towards marriage. And then you're just going to waste your time, and your time is pretty valuable, especially if you want to have a family. If you're still in that age range where you can have children and you want to have children, you're going to really be wasting your time. Anna says, hi, Zach, on a train, connection is in and out. Well, hopefully you catch most of the gist of this. Catherine says, agree on waiting. Christy says, one of the best things I've ever done. I want to commit in front of God and our family before I give him my body, or I could have his child. It makes me feel safe. The level of respect I had for him for waiting until marriage was unreal. Yeah, that's beautiful. And of course, there are a lot of potential downfalls to waiting until marriage as well. Like, here's the thing. No matter what, there's no, like, while I believe that it makes sense to wait till marriage, while I do believe that that's the best thing, we can also look at situations where there have been train wreck disasters where men and women wait until marriage. And why is that? Well, it's because that's not the only thing that's important, right? If you get into marriage totally blind to your needs and knowing how to communicate your needs, or if you're not in your self-worth as a woman, so it's like you avoid sharing your feelings, you avoid sharing your problems, you're not using feminine communication, you're not really speaking up, things aren't really feeling good for you, but you continue to go along anyway, you fawn, you people please, you go into mothering stuff, you try to get outcomes from a man because you don't know how to just have faith and trust and let a man take care of you. You put up with things that you shouldn't be putting up with. You settle for breadcrumbs. I mean, I could go on and on about the different things that a woman could do. But the point is, if that's where you're at and you wait till marriage for sex, well, you're still going to get really badly burned. Almost definitely, right? Because this isn't a cure all. It's just the waiting that long can be, I think it's a beautiful thing and spiritual thing, and for many different reasons. But it's also the safest thing that a woman can do. But much more important than that is to really learn how to use feminine communication. It's to learn how to communicate your needs. It's to learn how to stop fawning, going along with things that don't feel good for you, learning how to stop exposing yourself to a man's bad behavior, like his complaining or venting at you or bossing you around in a kind of subjugating way instead of from a place of love, right? If you don't know how to do all of those things, well, that's a much bigger problem, much, much bigger problem. Sarah says, guilty of man of those myself. Oh, many. I missed a Y there. Guilty of many of those things myself before the group. Yeah. Yeah, well, that is one of the great things about polarity, and also my free polarity group for those of you who are not in it. Got to join that relationship of your dreams on Facebook. One of the great things about it is that you really start to see all of the unhealthy things that you're always doing, right? So, as a woman, all the things that you're doing to unknowingly push a man away. Because the unfortunate reality for the vast, overwhelming majority of women out there is you weren't taught this in childhood. You weren't role modeled this by your mother. You weren't taught feminine communication by your parents. You weren't given the safety in childhood to be able to just fully let go and be taken care of and just vulnerably communicate what's coming up for you. Any woman who did experience all of that in childhood is a very, very lucky woman. And so, because you don't experience this, you carry on your unhealthy control patterns into adulthood and you continue doing the same stuff that kept you safe in childhood, but now it's actually hurting you in adulthood, right? Now it's attracting the wrong kind of men over and over again and the wrong kind of behaviors from men over and over again. So, you don't get cherished, you don't get taken care of. And there's a really important connection here. So, I'm not going to forget it. I'm just burning it into my memory so I remember. Between sex, when to have sex, and when to have sex. Oh my god, I think I forgot it. That's so horrible. Okay, when to have sex, using feminine communication. I think it's gone. It's kind of embarrassing. Well, I hope it comes back. I'm 40 now. I seem to be losing my memory. It's a lot sooner than I expected, my short-term memory, but it is what it is. I do the best that I can, especially when there's really amazing ideas where it's like, I got to talk about that. Can't even hold it for 10 seconds sometimes. But anyway, yeah, so I'm going to interject for a moment anyway, because there is something I do remember. We got, what do we got? We got 9.5 hours left, less than 9.5 hours before my Polarity Masterclass for ladies. So if you have not attended one yet and the time works for you, so 9.5 hours from now, that's Eastern, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you got to get your butt on one, because what we're going to be doing is really explaining a lot of this in more depth and showing you what your control patterns are, really outlining them for you, showing you how to use feminine communication to shift out of these control patterns that are repelling men and devotion from men, and repelling masculine men in the first place. And then we'll role play for you exactly how to show up in this different way. And you'll see, like, oh man, that's definitely not what I was doing at all. No wonder I don't have the relationship of my dreams right now. So we're basically showing you the inside scoop of how a man is going to respond, right? What it feels like to be a man when a woman is interacting with him in certain ways. And there's all these ways, all these things that you're doing that are unknowingly repelling devotion. It's like, I don't care who you are. I don't care what your past is. Even if you slept with 100 guys, hypothetically. I mean, I hope you haven't, but if you have, you have. Even if you have, you can still have a really healthy relationship where a man is cherishing you. But the one non-negotiable is you need to learn how to use feminine communication. You need to learn how to be in your feminine energy. You need to learn how to let go of control. You need to learn how to communicate to a man with respect, also honoring yourself, right? That's really big. So you're not just complying with the man's undevotional leadership. So you're learning how to communicate what's coming up for you when you're not getting what you want, or when he's leading you to do something that doesn't feel good, like suggesting a threesome, for example, which was one of my Facebook posts yesterday. So anyway, we will role play what this looks like for you in the masterclass, and then we will do a Q&A for you. So if you got questions, you can ask and we'll answer them. We do a feeling exercise as well to really help you tap into your needs and your feelings and show you how to stay in your body. Because one of the big issues for women, especially when they're communicating with a man, you're not speaking from here. You're speaking up from here. And even if you use feminine communication, if you're using it from up here, It's not going to land. So you need to be connected to your heart for a man to be connected to your heart. If you're up in your head, then you're not connected to your heart, not in that moment. So we'll help you with that as well. So that's polaritymasterclass.com. If you have not attended one of those masterclasses and you can make it tonight, do it. If you're single, if you are single and you don't have a date lined up with a hot man tonight who is not a red pill guy who's talking about how terrible single mothers are, so you don't have that hot date, then have that hot date with us on our masterclass. Okay, we're gonna take care of you. We're gonna show you how to really communicate in this beautiful way and shift into this healthy energy. All right, so that with that out of the way, I'm not going to continue on that any longer. So what else do I got to share? So we have any comments there? Guilty of myself. Yes, typo happens to me all the time. Yeah, I'm assuming you're talking about my memory problems. Yeah, Sandra. So when it comes to sleeping with, oh, I remember what it was. Okay, good. So when it comes to sleeping with a man, and say you want to wait till marriage, you might want to wait till marriage, or at least wait many, many months. Many women have a limiting belief that if that is their desire, or even let's go deeper, that is your need, that a man is not going to want to wait that long. No man is ever going to want to wait. So I may as well just give it up sooner because that's the only way that I'm going to be able to be in a relationship with a healthy man. So here's the thing about that. You're so lucky because guess what? You have me, a man who slept with many women, way, way too many women, and has been able to get, pretty much whatever sexual experience I want with women. And you have my mind to explain to you exactly why that's not true. So here's what would happen, right? I will put myself into this experience. You are wanting to wait until marriage, and you meet a man like me. Now, even the old me. Even better than meeting the old me would have been meeting the new me, or a man like the new me instead, who has a totally different belief when it comes to sleeping with women outside of commitment. But say that you met the old me, because that honestly, that's going to be most men who are attractive to women, like you might be less attracted to that man when you find out about his beliefs in sleeping with lots of women, but say that was the kind of man that you meet. If you are not in your self-worth, if you are not using feminine communication, if you are not being fully authentically you, if you are stuck in your control patterns, which typically early on, like with early dating, your main control patterns are going to be fawning and staying silent. You might not be much of a fawner when it's with a man you're not really attracted to. Things kind of shift when you're really, really, really attracted to a man. And it's like, man, I do not want this man to leave me. I can't be abandoned by him. Like, this is the most amazing man I've ever experienced. Kind of shift a little bit. Right? You show up in a bit of a different way. Typically, maybe not every single woman, but typically, and certainly in my experience, that's what I see. So in my experience, dating women, what I would see a lot of is women who would kind of do whatever I want. Not like I'm saying 100%, but for the most part, and staying silent on things where, like, I made a joke that might have hurt their feelings. They don't really say anything. Or I'm leading too quickly physically, maybe, and they don't say anything. Now, I am relatively in tune with a woman's discomfort, so I will naturally back off, but the fact that she's not communicating that is also a really big problem. What else? Just the certain conversations that we're having, there might be some discomfort there. So I would do things to, not on purpose, but I would do things that would hurt a woman's feelings or bring up some anxiety or whatever. And there was a lot of silence. There's a lot of silence or kind of just going along with it. And I've dated all kinds of women like this. I'm not saying this was every single woman, but it's the overwhelming majority, at least to an extent. And I'm not saying it's 100% of the time. It's just women who kind of, you rationalize when you really like a guy, you kind of rationalize his behavior, you kind of make excuses for his behavior, you give a guy a chance, all that kind of stuff. Every time you do that, you're stepping out of your feminine self-worth. Okay. Every time you do that, you're stepping outside of your feminine self-worth. And when you do that, you are communicating to a man that you are not worthy, or at least you're not as worthy as him. Your needs and your feelings are not as worthy and important as his needs and feelings. And so, what a man is going to experience is a drop in attraction. I'm not saying it drops to zero, I'm just saying it drops. And inspiration, like, oh, I must have this woman, like I don't want to be with any other woman, right? Like that's what you ideally want from a man, that kind of, man, I only want her, don't want to be with anyone else, want to fully claim her, I want to take care of her, no other woman is even comparable. That's what you want from a man, of course. But when you step out of your self-worth, when you're afraid of rocking the boat, when you're not, or if you do communicate but you're not using feminine communication, you start asking questions like, you know, why did you say that, instead of really getting honest with what you're feeling, or you give them some judgments, right? All of that is going to lower your self-worth. All of that is going to cause him to lose a certain level of inspiration to want to take care of you and claim you. He might still want to have sex with you, right? Like if we're talking, let's just do like a fun threshold. Like say like the threshold for like how he feels about you, it's up here to want to claim you. It's like right at the top, but at the like it's like right down here, he'd still be okay with sleeping with you. Okay, if you gave him a chance. So you could lower your self-worth by staying silent, by not using feminine communication, by being in certain fawning control patterns, all this stuff. As long as it's above here, he's still going to want to sleep with you, but you're now completely disqualified from having a relationship with him. He's not going to tell you that. And he's not necessarily going to know it consciously, but his body, and somewhere in his body, he knows it. And so if you tell, so first of all, it's important to always be using feminine communication and always be communicating what's coming up for you. Okay, no matter what. But let's say that you like hit the threshold for him wanting to claim you is here. And let's say you were still doing everything right, but like you're just not the woman for this specific guy. So you are a fantastic woman, you're relatively quite feminine, you're in your self-worth, but like, there's a personality type difference or whatever. And so you're here to him. Up here's the threshold to want to claim you, be with you forever. Here's where you are. Here's where his desire to have sex with you is. He still wants to have sex with you. So if you say, I mean, you should use feminine communication with this. You shouldn't just like set boundaries and say like, no, I'm not open to having sex. But if you vulnerably share what's coming up for you using feminine communication, so that a man has a chance to set boundaries for himself, and you're here, he's gonna drop off because the only thing that he really wanted was sex. He wasn't wanting anything serious with you anyway. So you're going to get a lot more rejections because you're going to be in here to a lot of men. Even if you are showing up incredibly well as a woman, like so much in your self-worth, you're still not necessarily going to be hitting that threshold for every single man. And so this is a way of weeding a lot of men out. And had women done that to me, I would have just dropped off because like, this isn't worth it. I really just wanted something casual, sexual, nothing serious. My wife and I slept together relatively soon. I'm not going to say when, but relatively soon. Uh, I still claimed her right away. I still led towards moving in together right away, and I still married her in 11 months. It made no difference. Like it's not like oh well, she slept with me, so now she has no value, so I'm just gonna use her. It doesn't actually work that way. It's like one of the things that red pill guys believe is true is actually not true at all, unless you're completely screwed up as a man. It's like you can have all kinds of theories as a red pill guy, but like you're probably a virgin and have no success with women, so you don't actually know what you're talking about. You don't even know yourself, let alone women. I've actually experienced what it's like. So it made no difference. Still wanted to fully claim her. didn't change anything really around the way that I felt about her. But let's say hypothetically, she used feminine communication with me, was really vulnerable, didn't set any boundaries around this in any kind of way. I'm even back then, so I wasn't the devotional man that tried to always be in a healthy masculine role that I am today. Even if it was back then, I can't imagine a situation where I wouldn't have waited. The guy that I was back then, I probably wouldn't be super happy about that, but it still would have been worth it to me. And so what you need to focus on, if you whether it's wanting to wait like until like really serious commitment or to marriage, or to at least know that a man can really take care of your heart and that like he's a good man and all that stuff, you need to first choose to have faith. If you don't have this belief yet, you have to have faith that of course you are fully worthy of a man who's willing to wait for you. Because if you don't believe that and you don't act accordingly, then guess what? You're not worthy of it, because your beliefs are going to create your reality. And if that is your belief and those are your actions, then a man's not going to see you as worthy either. And you're going to continue co-creating a situation where you're not being claimed by the kind of men that you want. Federica says, may I share? This last part is so relatable to me. Jennifer says, may I share? I feel resonance to this last part too. Excellent. Janelle says, it's true. I slept with my husband within 3 months of knowing each other, and I wasn't as open and vulnerable with him until he asked to marry me over a year later. Thankfully, his devotion only grew because he believed in one woman for life. Excellent. Yeah. Yeah. So, like, first of all, he's a man who has more kind of beliefs about that, um, that kind of dynamic, and like, we'll say dynamic. So that's good. And then obviously you guys were really right for each other, even if you weren't perfect, or maybe even not even close to perfect back then. You guys kind of grew into it more, which is fantastic. And you don't need to be the perfect woman. You don't even have to be close to the perfect woman to have a man who sees you as, like, we'll call it claim worthy, and claim worthy, without needing to sleep with you first. But you have to truly believe it. You have to truly own it. You have to truly not try to lead and set boundaries in that kind of way. And 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 you will set yourself so far apart from most women. Like, the way we have society right now is a joke. If we survive the next 500 years, we're going to be looking at the history books, how men and women were showing up, and just be shaking our heads like, this is, wow, that must have been really embarrassing and pathetic. What I mean by that is, I use quality, like, so the quality of men and women today, and this isn't just, I don't take it the wrong way, like I'm judging you in a negative sense. I am, but with love. So the quality of men and women today in the dating pool is extremely low, like extraordinarily bad. And we got men who don't know how to lead. We got men who don't want to lead. We got really feminized men. We got red pill men, who are judging women for everything. We got men who are just players like I used to be, who are not really devotional to women. And then on the women's side, we got women totally outside of their self-worth, who are silent, who are doormats, who are going along with things that they absolutely shouldn't, who are allowing situations where they're getting hurt over and over again. And then we got the boss babes. We got the hardcore feminists, the women who hate men. We got it all. We got it all. But what we have very little of, relatively speaking, is we got very few really healthy masculine men whose masculine instinct is fully online, who want to take care of a woman and cherish her and not use her, not hurt her, aren't interested in extracting sex from her early on. And they're really confident in themselves. Like, they're really in their power. They're protective. They're providers. They're not doing it from a simping place. That's the other type of man, the simp, the guy that's wearing a masculine costume, the white knight, the man who's acting the part to try to get a woman's approval, but it's not coming from an embodied place. So having a man like that, that's relatively very rare, especially since a lot of those men, the most of the few men that are, as I'm describing it, they're probably already married by the time they're 30. And then we got women. How many women out there are truly in their self-worth? Women who know how to use feminine communication, who are vulnerable, who are sharing feelings that are actually feelings, who are not judging a man, who are not energetically penetrating a man, who are always communicating what's coming up for them whenever it comes up. So their heart's fully on their sleeve, but they're not putting their feelings onto a man. They're not manipulating a man with their feelings, not dumping those feelings onto him, not trying to control the man with those feelings, not making him wrong with those feelings. So sharing all of that and fully letting go. Like the type of woman who knows what her worth is. She doesn't have to try to do anything to make a relationship work. She's just going to express herself vulnerably and openly using feminine communication. She's also not a gold digger. She's not stuck in entitlement. She's not stuck in judgments towards a man. She's just fully open. So a man can really feel that softness, feel that woman's gratitude. And also, like, here's the two pieces, right? So because a lot of my audience really is a lot of what I'm describing, very soft, very connected to your feminine energy in many ways, at least, able to not control in a lot of different ways. Maybe need more work with the feminine communication part and always sharing, but the feminine energy is there, right? Like I have a lot of women who come into my academy program who and I'll often tell them like, you got really great feminine energy, but that's not enough. Because if you've got good feminine energy, but you don't love the crap out of yourself, and I don't mean that in an egotistical way, but just like you're just full of love for yourself. You fully recognize your value in every way, and you're not going to tolerate any kind of mistreatment whatsoever. I don't mean you're going to go all boss babe on a man and attack him or anything like that, but you're just going to flow away. As soon as a man's mistreating you, you're going to share exactly what's coming up for you. And if it's not feeling good, if he's not shifting his behavior, okay, well, I'm going to move on. And so you're living in abundance, right? That's a good way of putting it. Like, you're in your self-worth, like really, really deep in your self-worth as a woman, if you live in a world of abundance of masculine men, even in a totally emasculated world that we live in, where the percentage of men who are actually really healthy and in their masculine is relatively small. If you are so much in your feminine self-worth and have cultivated this belief and this ability to operate without trying to control anything, and you're able to, like, there's masculine men coming into your life over and over again, like healthy men, not men who turn out to be simps, not men who turn out to be abusers, but like really healthy men who actually want to lead things forward and claim you, and you actually have choice. Like and this is something that women who go on this path, every woman's can experience it eventually, where your biggest problem goes from like, I can't find any masculine men. Where are the masculine men? There's nowhere. And where are the masculine men who specifically want to claim me? That's your biggest problem. And then that shifts to, how do I choose? I got all these masculine men that are coming at me, and I feel attraction for a lot of them, and I feel connection, I feel safe. How do I choose? How do I make the right choice? That's a good problem to have. That is a fantastic problem to have. And that's a longer term thing. Like, so in our academy program, for example, it's not like I'm saying, hey, in 6 months, you're going to be there. That would be hugely overpromising for the vast majority of women. But you're on a trajectory as you shift more and more into your self-worth. As you find yourself, you connect to your heart, you learn feminine communication, you learn to trust and have faith in men and their leadership. You learn to feel gratitude for men. You're learning to not settle for breadcrumbs, not settle for mistreatment. You're fully willing to flow away. without continuing to stick around and continuing to get hurt, over time that will shift. It's a very beautiful thing. See if there's anything else here. Okay, I got my business page talking to me. Hello, Zach Rody Coaching, relationship of your dreams. What excellent service. All right, how are we doing for time here? We're at 50 minutes. We got 36 people on. It's been really lovely connecting with all of you. I'm going to definitely do this more because I think my internet connection is now good enough to handle it. Wasn't able to do that a few months ago, and I don't know why. So I'm going to say this one more time for anyone who has come on, who hasn't attended this whole thing. If you have not attended my Inspire Him to Cherish You masterclass before, you've never done our 2-hour event where we teach you how to use feminine communication and we role play it for you and we answer your questions and we help you connect to your heart to learn how to inspire a man into cherishing you, into claiming you if you're single, cherishing you if you're in a relationship, inspire him into shifting his unhealthy behavior patterns, then join us. It's at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard tonight. It's going to blow your mind. It's going to open your mind up to a lot of things that you didn't see before. And this even goes for women who've read my books or have been in my free group or have been following my YouTube channel for a while. It's a different experience and you're going to end up learning a lot more. Because in a lot of my content, I'm really focused on the theory stuff. Yes, I do give some examples of feminine communication and everything here and there, but we're going to go a lot more into that, make it a lot more concrete, a lot more applicable for you. So you're going to have a lot more tools and understanding by the end of it. It's like, okay, I'm going to go use this on my date that's happening tomorrow or with my man. And when I say use, I mean, you're actually embodying it. You're not using it as a tool to get something, to extract something. You're learning it, or you're using it to become a more vulnerable feminine woman, first and foremost for you. Yes, the outcome of what you'll get from men is so much better. But more importantly, you are feeling good, being more in your self-worth, being more vulnerable, more open, more authentic, hiding less, settling for less. That's what I want to help you do. That's what I help women do in my academy program. And that's what we do on our masterclass as well. So polaritymasterclass.com, book your spot. Hours are ticking. Don't wait. I'll see you there. And we're going to have a fantastic time. And for everybody else who has attended, thank you for attending this live. You've been fantastic and we'll do this again soon. Excellent, Jennifer. Sign up. So it's polaritymasterclass.com. You can see the link in my bottom left corner of my screen. You type that in and then just go through it and sign up and I'll see you there. We'll have a great time. Judy says, for everyone who hasn't attended, this is the most important investment you can do for you. It is. Well, I mean, second to the academy, of course. But regardless, this is a really huge step forward in really understanding this and applying it. Like we've seen so many results. Like women, what I often get is women who will do the masterclass and they'll book a call with me typically right away. And then when I talk to them on the call, it's like, oh, so you did the masterclass a week ago or 2 weeks ago. Have you applied anything? And they're like, yeah, like I did this with my man or I did this on a date. And like, I got a totally different response. And like, that's why I know this is so legit. Like this obviously is working and I want more. But we can start with the masterclass. All right. That's it for me. Have a great day, everybody. PolarityMasterclass.com. I'll see you there if you're signing up. Bye for now.